welcome once again to Story Time. Today we're going to go to the beautiful country of Kenya in the Kano Plains. The Kano Plains is in Kenya. The name of the story today is The Legend of Lwanda Magere. I hope you enjoy it. Long time ago in the kingdom of Kano, there lived a community that enjoyed unity and prosperity. It was no wonder all neighbouring kingdoms envied and admired them. Their young men were skilled in battle and brave in the sight of trouble. But amongst them was one young boy who stood out the most, Lwanda Magere. Lwanda Magere was passionate about helping his old ailing mother. He would work from dawn to dusk without tiring. Whenever wild animals attacked their herd, he would single-handedly fend them off. It was amazing to the villagers what this young boy was capable of doing without help from his peers. Everyone watched him as he grew up. One fateful evening, the Kano kingdom was attacked by warriors from another community. Lwanda had gone hunting for meat for dinner. The warriors raided the kingdom, killing many and taking away herds of cattle. When Lwanda heard of the attack, he rushed back in an attempt to come and protect his old mother. Unfortunately, on his arrival, the warriors were already gone and his mother lay lifeless. The villagers had to hold him back as he wailed and tried to go after the attackers. He mourned his mother and vowed revenge. When he learned that the warriors who attacked were from the famous Nandi kingdom, he decided to join warriors from his kingdom. The famous warrior, at a young age, was raised by his mother. His father was killed in one of the many battles against the Nandi when he was still a young boy. Even so, the whole Luo community adored him and gave him the comfort he needed. Now, the enemy had left him totally orphaned, without a father nor a mother, and he swore revenge. As days and months passed, battles became more frequent, and Lwanda looked forward to a time when he would also be allowed to join the battlefield. The Nandi warriors always attacked at night, and they proved to be exceptional fighters during the night. The Luo fighters, on the other hand, were known to be skilled warriors during the day. "One day I will avenge you, mother, and they will tremble at my name," Lwanda repeated to himself every day. He was told to train, but saw no need. He knew all he needed was an opportunity to join the battlefield, and the Nandi would never dare attack again. When Lwanda came of age and was finally allowed to join other warriors in defending the Kano kingdom, he did not disappoint. He was passionate about bringing the enemies to their knees, and he did indeed. The first battle took the enemy unawares. They did not expect the kind of warrior Lwanda turned out to be. He had no fear. He walked through spear and arrows thrown at him without fear. No matter how sharp the swords were, none penetrated his skin. Even his fellow Luo warriors were amazed at his courage and strength. Single-handedly, he brought down more men than the entire team of warriors could. At a time when many battles were common between the Nandi people and the Luo, Lwanda Magere was known for his unmatched victory in every battle he was involved in. The Nandi warriors were skilled, and for a long time they terrorized the Luo community. However, when Lwanda Magere came in defense of the Luo, every victory became theirs. He became widely known and feared by other communities for his unearthly powers. No arrow, no spear could penetrate his skin, and he possessed strength so great he would tear through entire armies. With every battle he would proceed forward and enter villages, taking their prized possession, which was cattle. He was known to fight fiercely for his people, and the elders honoured him with beautiful women for his wives. So feared was Lwanda Magere that whenever the enemies heard that he was in the battlefield, they would retreat and run back. While he was not fond of bullying the enemy, he would follow them just to ensure they were reminded to not return to the Luo land. The women in the kingdom sang songs of praise for Lwanda, and the elders and fellow warriors celebrated him for his strength. His name means the fierce rock, or the rock that builds in Luo. Every weapon had been used against him, but none succeeded in injuring him. Everyone was curious to know of the secret behind his strength, but but none did, not even his own tribesmen. Only his first wife knew of his secret, and she swore to never tell a living soul. Whenever Lwanda fell ill, only she would attend to him. He loved and trusted her, and despite having many other wives, she remained the most important woman in his life. After so many attempts by the Nandi to kill Lwanda Magere, and all failing, they concluded that he was a miracle from God. They decided to seek another way to defeat him by discovering the secret of his immortality. After several deliberations amongst themselves, the Nandi elders decided that pretending to offer peace was the only way they would learn of his secret. They came up with a plan to offer one of their daughters to Lwanda Magere as a wife, claiming that it was their way of agreeing to peace and accepting defeat. However, known only to them, the girl was to be a spy for her people. The Luo elders were against the marriage and tried very hard to advise their beloved warrior against the union. The girl was too beautiful for Lwanda Magere to decline. The Nandi girl, Chengoi, did everything within her power to win the love and trust of the Luo people. She was hardworking, displayed compassion, patience, and commitment to the Luo community. Months turned into years, and after 2 years, most of the Luo people still did not trust Chengoi. The elders still held on to their reservations towards her. Every 3 months, Chengoi would go to her people to let them know how she was doing, and every time she went, there was nothing she had to tell them that would benefit the warriors. At some point, her own people began to doubt her, thinking she may have turned against them. Chengoi felt like an outcast both with her people and with the Luo community. No one trusted her. But she knew no matter what, that the Luo community would never fully accept her. She needed to earn back the trust of her people. For a long time, she had nothing to report back to her people. Every time Lwanda was ill, the only one allowed to attend to him was his first wife. She remained the only one who knew his weakness until one fateful day. Lwanda was unwell and his first wife was away. One of his other wives was to attend to him, but instead of picking one of the Luo wives, he picked the Nandi wife to bring him his medication. He instructed her to cut his shadow and pour the medicine into it. Though a weird request, she did as she was told. To her utter shock, the shadow bled. Chengoi was torn between going to her people and remaining faithful to her husband. Lwanda had honored her by trusting her with something no one else knew, even in his community. She felt guilty. It didn't feel right to betray him. But she knew it would still be a betrayal to remain silent, a betrayal to her people. She decided in her heart that she would wait until he was strong enough to defend himself. Then she would reveal his secret to her people. After Lwanda had recovered, she snuck out and went to her people. When she told them of her discovery, she was received with a lot of jubilation. Finally, the Nandi knew that Lwanda's shadow was made of flesh and was his weakness. With that information, they planned an attack against the Luo community. Lwanda had many wives, and it took some time before he found out that one of them was not around. Others realized Chengoi was not around, but no one found it suspicious, as they assumed she went to visit her people and would return. After a while, the Nandi were ready to attack, and they planned to do it when the Luos least expected. When they did attack, the Luo warriors fought bravely, despite being caught unawares. The Luo people and Lwanda outmatched the Nandi with their fighting skills, causing them to retreat in defeat. However, as they ran back to their land, one of their warriors remembered what they were told of Lwanda's shadow. He stood on a hill, aimed his spear at Lwanda's shadow and threw it in a perfect arc. The mighty Lwanda Magere fell, dead from the fatal wound. Instantly his body turned into a hard rock on the spot. When the mighty warrior fell, there was chaos on the battlefield, and nature seemed to get angry at the fall of a warrior. On that very day, a strong wind, never seen before, blew across the whole of Nandi and Kano. The trees shook and the ground split open. The confusion ended the fight, both sides running to save their people. The Luo returned home wailing, and the whole land mourned their slayed hero. The Nandi warriors remained hidden, scared of the possibility that Lwanda was alive. Nonetheless, the changes that came with nature made everyone apprehensive. For the next 2 years, both communities suffered a terrible drought. No one knew where Lwanda's body was, especially after they heard of what Chingoy did, and the drought that struck the land made it clear that Lwanda Magere was not an ordinary man. Even the Nandi community withdrew from attacks, from fear of what it meant to have had a hand in the killing of Lwanda. Everyone understood that Lwanda's life was important for the prosperity of both communities. After the 2-year drought, Lwanda appeared to the Luo elders in dreams, telling them where his body was. Word was sent out, and a search for where his body lay. Everyone looked for it. Even the Nandi tried to find the body, just to ensure rain came back. The Luo community wanted to be the ones to find their warrior's body. They did not trust the Nandi people. Everyone in Kano went out to search. They searched with tears in their eyes and heavy hearts. They had lost a great man, one no other would ever be able to replace, and they didn't know what would become of them once the attacks begun again. Only after they found his body, the rock, in a bush near River Nyando, did it rain heavily for 3 consecutive days. The whole community was stunned, and they offered sacrifices to pay their respects. The story of the occurrence that followed the death of Lwanda Magere was heard beyond the land of Kano. Many from the Luo community came to offer sacrifices where the mighty warrior had fallen. His body that turned into a rock was guarded and kept as a sacred thing. Many saw him as a god for bringing rain to their land. To this very day, the place he fell and died is seen as sacred, and the Luo people from far come to worship there. They conduct rituals and sacrifices, believing that appeasing him would bring good luck to the land and keep the drought away. Tourists also come from far to see the rock that was once the hero of the land. The rock is still called Lwanda Magere and can today be found in Muhoroni, Kisumu County, where it is believed to have been kept after it was found. The legacy of Lwanda Magere lives on. I hope you enjoyed this tale, which was based on the folklore of Lwanda Magere in Kenya. I hope that you enjoyed listening to this tale. Please share, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!